MMAOddsBreaker. Of course, Danny Castillo has been on the show a couple different times. Paul Felder coming up January 3rd, UFC 182 here in Las Vegas. First, let's get into Christmas. No Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no New Year's. You're in wrestling season. That's basically what just happened.
Yeah, well, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been a wrestler my whole life. So it's I worked out on Thanksgiving Day, and I'll probably work out on Christmas Day, and it's just a part of me, and I take pride in it, and it's something that I enjoy doing. You know, it's those times when when I don't have to do anything on these days. That's probably when it's going to be sad, and it's really going to hit me. But I enjoy my life. My weight's really good, so I had a great Thanksgiving dinner.
So besides working out Thanksgiving Day and working out Christmas Day, because all wrestlers have done that, that's kind of like our MO. That's our we're better than you kind of attitude. Hey, I got up this morning and worked out before I went over here and had dinner. What other traditions from your wrestling years during the holidays that you've actually put into this training camp?
Not too many. It's just basically grind. It's work out hard and then have fun with the family, and you keep in mind your competitive spirit and keep it in perspective. Right now, what I do is I compete, and I compete for myself to be the best Danny Castillo I can be. But it's all about the money. That's how I pay my family. That's how that's how this little guy eats. So as I'm hanging out with my family and reflecting, I know that there's work to be done. And, seeing the kids at Christmas time and seeing my family, and I know exactly what I need to do. I need to go out there, and I need to put a hurting on this kid, and I need to end the fight in the first round and, get that paycheck, both of them.
Talking about paychecks, of course, the Reebok deal has come in. And it's going to start acting sometime next year. We've heard, I'm not sure the exact date, but that means now you have one sponsor, Reebok, as opposed to multitude of sponsors. What do you think it's going to do for you, money-wise? Is it going to increase or decrease or stay the same?
It's tough to say. And, because I know I don't really know the fine points and the details of it, but I know it's on a ranking system.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like I'm going to get screwed out of it, only because I've been in the sport for a long time, and I've been grinding my ass off, and I've been training hard, and my whole show. This is going to be my 20th fight with Zuffa.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the top 15. I'm not in the top 10. So where does that put me? Does that put me in the same position where I'll make the same money as the newcomer? Because unfortunately, that's pretty much what it looks like, and that's not going to be good for me. To get paid the same as some kid who's making his debut. Because I've been working hard. I make good money for being a lightweight, but that's because 20 fights. And I've been winning, and my pay goes up every time I win. So the money that I earn, when sometimes online I hear like, why is Castillo making that money? Well, it's because I've been busting my ass since 2008. That's why.
Yeah.
And I've been winning fights and losing fights, and I feel like I deserve the money I get. And do I feel like I should make more money? Everyone feels like they should make more money. Floyd Mayweather thinks he should make more money, and that's probably a guy who probably shouldn't make that much money. LeBron James, all these people want more money because that's your self-worth. Do I feel like I'm better than, $30-some thousand a show, $30-some thousand to win? Yeah, man. I put it all on the line, and no one really knows the effects of the punches I've been taking in training. No one knows what that's going to do to me in my 50s and 60s. Right. I'm not complaining about it, because I live a great life, and I'm fortunate to be in the position I am. But the reality of everything is, it's a dangerous sport, and I do take damage, and there's brain damage, and I've been knocked out a couple times in my career, and there's the telltale signs. Like I don't know what's going to happen to me down the road. So yeah, man, I think I'm worth a lot more money than I make.
Now there's a situation too where you get paid a certain scale off of where you are ranked wise, but then you also get paid off of sales of your actual team outfit. So you get some of these characters, and of course we just finished Tough 20 with the ladies, excuse me, and they've come off the show, and now you're going to get some of those ladies that have 4-1 records or 4-2 records are now going to be in the UFC and be part of the Reebok deal, and they're off of sales. They're going to make a lot of money because they were just seen on TV. You are affiliated with Team Alpha Male. So obviously Uriah and everybody else that's up there, you guys always have like this team mentality about everything you do. Thanksgiving's together, Christmas together. You know, we've got, you know, everyone lives together. It's like this whole mindset. So is Team Alpha Male already talking about, okay, the Reebok deal, this is what it's going to happen with the Reebok deal, but now what we're going to do within the parameters of the deal is help everybody get their shirts out there more so everyone can make more money, like almost, I don't want to say internally sell like a Team Alpha Male gym, but help promote each other's stuff and help promote each other. Because I got to say, if Uriah's on doing an interview and he's wearing a Danny Castillo shirt, that's going to go a long way to getting more sales for you as well.
Right, and you know, I totally agree, and unfortunately we haven't really talked about that kind of stuff because we're more of a grind first team. You know, we worry about that other stuff, and you know, I have something like close to 30,000 followers on Twitter, like 12,000 on Instagram, a ton on Facebook, and a lot of that is mainly due to Uriah. You know, a lot of is my hard work. But, you know, for me to deny that, you know, half those followers didn't come from my teammates' retweets and all that stuff, you know, I'd be fooling yourself, and I'd be fooling you, and I'd be fooling myself. So maybe we do need to sit down and have a team meeting and find out ways that we can monetize this. The success the team has brought. Because, I mean, the fact of the matter is I'm 35 years old, and, you know, I gave myself 10 fights. 10 fights or 3 years, and then I'm done with the sport. So that's what I told myself. I gave myself a personal promise. If things start going well after the 10 fights and I'm in a position where I'm close to that title shot or I have the title, then of course, you know, I'd reevaluate that. But, you know, my body, not that my body's breaking down, but, you know, it hurts to get out of bed sometimes. And, you know, I don't recover as well as some of these young kids. And we got kids from all over the world coming to train with us every day. And each time they're in that room, they're trying to bring it to me. And they're trying to whip my ass. Like, that's just the way it is. Yeah. No matter if we're going 80% sparring, 60% sparring, like, you know, I have to do other things outside of training. Like, I have to eat right. Like, right, I try to eat gluten-free. Like, I try to go to bed, you know, at decent hours, try to get as much sleep I can. I get massages, ice baths. I'm in the hyperbaric chamber. Like, I'm doing things that are going to prolong my career. But, you know, I'm doing things that a true professional should do. And that's why I have so many fights on short notice, because I'm always ready to go. Yep. My weight's always good. You know, people get hurt because they're out of shape. They go right into training and they're carrying 30, 40 pounds, and then they blow out a knee. Or, you know, there's just all kinds of things. But for me, like, ever since I came in the sport, like, I used to drink a lot, but I quit drinking. I'm totally sober now. I'm going on close to 3 years. Oh, wow. I've made the decision that as long as I'm a professional, I'm going to act as a professional and try to be the best role model possible.
There's few teams out there, I think, actually, this deal is going to help even the lower-level guys. Obviously, ATT now because, you know, Robbie Lawler's a champ and he's down there. Team Alpha Male, of course, Extreme Couture, because those groups are all very, very tight-knit, family kind of oriented, do things together, hang out together. And, of course, Ronda Rousey and the Four Horsewomen are going to be able to pull it together. And the Reebok deal for them is actually going to help even the lower-level people because everyone's going to help each other out. So I do see for you guys, at least, being able to monetize it and finding a way around it. You know, you guys are smart up there. You're going to find a way. You're a businessman. Half the team up there has their own businesses, whether it's flipping houses or owning their own gyms or doing their own things. Like, everyone's kind of got a business mindset up there. You guys will find a way to monetize this Reebok deal and make it better than anybody else could ever possibly hope, even better than what the contract says you should get. I'm sure you guys will end up getting more out of it because you're going to find ways, you know, not loopholes, not things that are illegal, but finding ways to, like, hey, this is what it is, then I got to sell 100 shirts, and I got to sell 100 shirts to get the bonus, so I'm going to sell 100 more shirts. That's just kind of how you guys work. But that sponsorship deal, not having the headache of having to hustle sponsorships and trying to find sponsorships, well, is it a headache for you trying to get sponsorships? Is it a problem to trying to get sponsorships right now?
Not so much as it is to collect the sponsorship money. My last fight was in August, and I still have a sponsor, like a huge chunk of money out there that I haven't collected, and it's like, unfortunately, that's just that's just what I'm accustomed to.
Yeah.
I never once have I got fought and get all my sponsorship money at a net 30, not even a net 90. So it's like it's unfortunate for me, and maybe it has something to do with my choice in management. But I made some changes with that, and it's just ridiculous that I have to wait this long to get my money.
Do you, on that sponsor still owes you money? Do you have to wait for your old manager to finish that deal up, or have you gone directly to him and said, "Look, you guys still owe me money"?
Well, I fired my manager.
Right, I know that, but that manager he's the one that did the deal for the old sponsor, correct?
Yeah.
So you have to wait on that old manager to go back to the sponsor to get the money, or can you go to the sponsor yourself to get the money?
Well, that would probably be the next step for me. I'm tired of waiting for my money. It's unfortunate. They got what they wanted out of me, is their logo on my shorts in front of thousands, potentially millions of people. And, it's just.
It's been at the time of this interview, it's been 4 months. I mean, that's asshole-ish at this point. So either your old manager has got the money and hasn't told you he has the money, which happens. Trust me, it's happened to me in the past. Or these guys are like, because the manager has been fired, he's like, I'm not going to worry about collecting the money, and so the sponsor's like, okay, whatever, I don't care, because you're not trying to collect the money, so I'm not going to offer you the money because you're not trying to get it from me. You need to call that sponsor, and then if that sponsor doesn't respond, now you get to go to your 17,000 Instagram followers. You get to go to your 30,000 followers on Twitter and go, look, this sponsor has shortchanged me. This sponsor is now being an asshole. He hasn't paid me my money. Here's my shorts with his logo on it. Here's the 3-round split decision that I lost that had this guy's sport. So it wasn't like a 90-second knockout. You win and the sponsor didn't get that much time. He got 15 minutes. He got 15 full minutes on the card, and people saw it. And he's not paying you. That's an asshole. Now, hopefully, he's being an asshole. He doesn't know he's being an asshole because the old manager hasn't contacted him. But if he knows he's being a dick and he's being a dick about it, now you got a problem. You got to blast him. You have to blast him because these sponsors go nuts. But that's the other end of this Reebok deal. Now we don't have problems like that because the deal is done through the UFC. The UFC's going to make sure you get paid. So now there's no more problems. But the money might be lower, but the 4 months waiting time for that money, is it worth the extra money if you know you're going to get paid within 2 weeks now? Does that change things?
Yeah, it does change things, but I don't know, man. I'm just kind of focused on what I'm doing. I got this fight coming up, and that's the number one focus for me. I have a supplemental income with the Pilates studio that I opened up. I'm looking to open my second location now. So, I kind of try to focus on those things, opposed to just worrying about that stuff because, I believe in karma. And, I feel like it's going to come back, but, enough is enough. Yeah. I can't, and that's exactly why I fired him. But, I'm not going to say his name or blast him right now, although I should, so other fighters know not to work with him. I build this personal relationship with the guy, and, I feel like he's a good guy. I don't really know, although, like, anyone who just kind of keeps $10,000 from you is not really a good friend, and maybe I should do that, but that would be the next step. Right now it's Paul Felder, and I'm 17 days away from the fight. I'm not thinking about anything except resting, eating well, staying healthy, and coming out of that fight with the first round finish, because ultimately it's not about $10,000, even though that sounds ridiculously nuts. 10 years ago you said $10,000. I might have to get some of my homies, and we might have to go knock on your door and have to get my money some way or another. But now it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm just focused on my career. My number one thing right now, priority, is my career and doing as well as I can and making a name for myself and really pushing it and challenging myself. So right now it's not a huge deal for me right now. But
let's look at it this way. That company, that sponsor, they might need the money more than you. They might only be staying afloat because they haven't had to pay that 10 grand. Because they're able to hold that 10 grand, they're able to stay open. They're able to keep paying their employees. So you never know. They made the money more than you. And if you stay focused on this fight and you knock out Paul Felder in the first round, then you get knockout of the night, plus you win money, plus you show money, that's not a bad New Year's. It's honestly, at the end of the day, it's not a bad New Year's getting 50,000 extra for a knockout of the night or a finish of the night. You know?
But where I'm at in my life, it's not going to be a bad New Year's no matter what.
Right.
So
Yeah, you got a point there. Yeah.
I grew up as an angry kid. You know, I was doing a bunch of thug shit when I was in my 20s. And now where I'm at right now is just like, I can't even believe in myself sometimes. So, you know, I just try to focus on the positive as much as possible. And, you know, everything will happen, you know, everything will happen. And you know, I'll make a conscious effort to go after that money when I'm done with this. Right. And then if I'm not getting any progress with it, then I'll blast him. Yeah. Then I'll go to the UFC and I'll be like, look, Joe Silva, like, this is my manager. He owes me this amount of money. I'm not getting paid. This is the company. I don't know what maybe they can do something by banning them.
Can you help me? You know, can you help me a little bit? And they will. And that's the thing about the UFC. You know, obviously with the new lawsuit just came out and everyone's on one side of the fence or the other. And with the new Reebok deal, everyone's on one side of the fence or the other. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the UFC takes care of their own. They will always take care of their own. And you have fought 20 times in the UFC. That's a lot of time to be fighting the UFC. They like you. It's apparent that they like you. They've shown you that they like you. So if you come in with a problem, they may not be able to help you, but they're going to help you find the person that can help you. And that's the one thing the UFC always does. Dana White 100% will back you. Joe Silva will back you. You know, Lorenzo will back you. If there's a problem, they're always going to come after you. And this conversation right here is one of the biggest issues that they were talking about. The reason why they did the deal for the fighters. It's like you don't have this problem anymore. This $10,000 gap that you're expecting that you're not getting. Like this is why the Reebok deal came out, was specifically to help fighters like you. Yeah, well, you might get screwed because you're not top 5, but at the end of the day, there's not a $10,000 gap. There's not a headache, and you got your check within net 30. You know, net 60. You know? Right,
and I'm glad we're talking about this so the people at home kind of know exactly where we're coming from, because it's not like, I mean, I fight on TV. People think like I'm this rich dude, but I mean, I got a small townhouse, and the money that I'm making every month is from my own doing. You know, I mean, granted, I did make it in the cage, and I used that to something else. But what are the people who don't have smart business sense, who don't have mentors like Uriah Faber to help them? Like, Danny, you got to do something. You got to get an IRA. You got to get a retirement. You got to start thinking of the future. Like, I'm fortunate enough to have someone like that in my life that's coaching me along the way, and at the same time is my buddy. You know, and I don't know. It's frustrating at the same time, but I'm living my dream, so it's not that frustrating to me.
Right.
You know,
right. And like you said,
fed. You know, I have 2 cars. Yeah. You know, like it's not that big. I mean, at the end of the day, like if I want to go out and buy a fucking $500 pair of shoes, I can do that. If I want to go and do something else, if I want to just fly to Europe, fly to Mexico, like I can do that. You know, it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. Like, I'm not going to complain about my fighter money or anything like that. You know, like I said, of course I want more money. I mean, you want more money.
Everyone wants more money. I want more money. You know, like I told everybody when they used to complain about the contracts before, I said, look, you don't get what you're worth. You get what you negotiate. I'm worth $1 million. When I'm in the prime of my career, I was worth $1 million every time I fought. That's what I thought. I was worth $1 million. Not what I got paid. I got what I negotiated. And that's the reality of sports as a whole. Mayweather gets that $50 million paycheck because he negotiates a $50 million paycheck. I wasn't able to negotiate that. It's not what I got paid. So that's just what it is. And I have no complaints about my fight career. I have no complaints about the money I made. Do I wish I made more money during the fight game? Of course I did. Do I wish I could still make more money out of the fight game as a commentator or as a coach or as a talking head? Of course I do. Everybody wants to make more money. But am I complaining about it? Absolutely not, because I got to live a dream for a long time that no one else could touch. Now let's talk about breaking down Paul Felder's dream. He's 7-0 coming in to face you. Guys are dangerous.
Is he 7-0 or 9-0?
I got different reports. I split the difference. I've had like 3 to say he's 9-0, and I've had 2 to say 7-0. Who cares?
Yeah.
The reality of it is that guys that are undefeated are dangerous. They don't know. They're stupid. They don't know that they're in trouble. They don't know that they're in a process where, crap, I should be losing this fight because they haven't lost yet. So they always try to find a way to keep winning. Other than him being undefeated and not understanding that what it feels like to lose yet, is he really dangerous anywhere else for you?
Every fighter's dangerous. Anything can happen. You put those small gloves on, people fall down all the time. And, this is a really dangerous fight for me. And, I had a great fight with Rustam Onkabilov, ranked 15. That's a fight where, as long as I put a good show, win or lose, then my stock goes up.
Yeah.
Paul Felder, if I have a bad performance, my stock goes down. If I don't finish him, my stock goes down. Yeah. If he wins, he takes everything I have from me. And that's something that's in the back of my head. But man, strikers, I fought some of the best strikers in the game. I've already fought Cowboy, I've already fought Pettis, I fought Barbosa. On the ground, like I fought some of the best, and I fought some of the biggest too. Tim Means was huge. He came in 4 pounds overweight. Yeah. It's everything that he has, I fought someone better than him.
Let's go back a little bit further. You talk about strikers, some of the best strikers, Dustin Poirier. Some of the best grapplers, Joe Stevenson. Who's fighting, in January, he's still fighting. He unretired again, so he's coming back out again. Anthony Njokuani, another striker, strict striker, and you beat him in a split decision. So it's not like you haven't faced super tough talent. This guy hasn't faced, Fielder hasn't faced super tough talent yet. Like super tough guys that are old and seasoned and had that heat. For me, it's going to come down to, this is my personal opinion, for me it's going to come down to who's in the better cardio shape, who recovered better from making weight. Because both the guys excel, both the guys are well-rounded, but you obviously have the veteran game. And you've been inside that cage so many more times. That octagon, every corner of that octagon is familiar to you. Every little face you see on the outside, people don't realize, because people that sit cage-side, you see every little face. You see Heidi and Chuck Liddell sometimes. It throws you off. You're throwing a punch, and all of a sudden you see Chuck Liddell sitting out there. It's like, whoa, that's one of my childhood heroes. He's out there watching me. You see Dana and Lorenzo. You see Joe and Sean. You see these people. You do that all the time. Does that factor into your training camp a little bit? That you're going to be able to keep, this guy doesn't really know how good the cage is. He's only been there one time. Doesn't really know the full heat of what goes on in there, and you're trying to use that to your advantage?
Well, I know that he doesn't necessarily know how much trouble he's in until we get in there. He doesn't know exactly what's going to happen until I drop a right hand on him. And, I don't, I have a few knockouts, a few highlights, but the fact of the matter is my last fight with Tony Ferguson, I put a right hand on him and then he started diving on my legs. And then everyone's complaining like, oh, you wrestled. Like, hold on. I was outstriking him on my feet. I hit a right hand on him and then he starts diving on my legs. And that was my fault for letting my pride get in the way. I went into grappling mode. I started grappling, and that's my fault. I'm not saying that I didn't win the fight. I'm not saying that he didn't win the fight. I'm saying that, the proof is in the pudding. Like, I hit hard. And as soon as I hit him with the right hand, he's going to know exactly what happened. And hopefully he starts covering up, because he starts coming over. I'm going to bust that body up. I'm going to take him down, and I'm just going to pound the shit out of him. And my grappling is getting so much better. Like, I have a great, great ground game. I'm a brown belt. I don't know when I'll get my black belt. I'm not really worried about when I'm getting my black belt.
But they'll give it to you when you retire. By the way, here's your black belt. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm always going to be a student, so, you'll always be a brown belt forever. It doesn't matter if you're a black belt, you're still a brown belt because, there's always so many different techniques, like before it was passing the legs. Now it's like you got to block the hips to pass. Now there's just so many different ways to man, De La Riva is just like, it's constantly evolving. It's not the same game as it was before. And things work that don't work. Things that worked 4 months ago don't work anymore. Don't work today. They don't work today. So I take pride in constantly staying a student of the game and just being a better fighter, not trying to beat Paul Felder. Because the ultimate goal is to be the best fighter in the world. So I'm not trying to beat Anthony Pettis. I'm trying to be better than Anthony Pettis, and I'm trying to be better in all aspects that Anthony Pettis is in. That's the gauge. That's where everyone wants to be. So I'm just trying to continue to grow and be a better fighter because, when it's all said and done, I'll have, years of experience. I'm close to being an expert. 10,000 hour rule, I got to be there. I got to be around there sometime because I train like an animal. I'm one of the hardest trainers, one of the hardest workers in my camp. And we have a camp full of beasts, a camp full of champs. everyone in my camp is in the top 5. I'm like I'm holding the crew up. Like the lightweight division belongs to me in that camp, and I need to make a statement. I need to be in the top 10, so we're well-rounded.
That's Danny Castillo fighting Paul Felder coming up here on January 3rd, UFC 182. Danny, thanks, but I appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you after the fight's over.
Yeah, for sure. You do the same, man. I know Christmas time is a big time, especially if you have children. So I wish you guys all the best, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man. Talk to you later.